عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بإنصابنا سيد الشهداء فيا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما. فوزا عظيما يا سيدي. How I wish I was with you that fateful day. By Allah, you had a great fortune. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه الكريم وهو أصدق الصادقين وقوله الحق. قال ربي فانظروني إلى يوم يبعثون. قال فإنك من المنتظرين إلى يوم وقت معلوم. قال ربي بما أغويتني لأزين لهم في الأرض وأغوينهم أجمعين إلا عبادك منهم المخلصين. For the hastening and the reappearance of the Imam of our time, please recite Allahumma salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Can someone remind me what today's topic is? Anyone see the flyer? What was yesterday's topic? Come on, who could have found my already? It was just yesterday. What happened on your mind? The ideology of Shaytan. Who is Shaytan? Today's topic is the tactics of Shaytan. How does Shaytan attack? Let me share you a very scary story. Believe it or not, this earlier today, not even an hour and a half ago, I opened my computer to practice my lecture, and my whole lecture was gone, except for one line. Shaytan will come after you step by step. That was the only thing left. Alhamdulillah, I was able to retype my lecture because my teacher has a very similar lecture which I had taken the material from. So it wasn't too different. But Shaytan will come after you step by step. So, alhamdulillah, I got the chance to rewrite this lecture. I apologize if I'm not able to deliver it at the same confidence as the other lectures. But for my teacher who came to my safeguard, Sheikh Mansoor Laqai, and for all of our other ulama, and so that we can protect ourselves from the shaitan, زين أصواتكم بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Brothers and sisters, what have we been discussing? We have been discussing Islamic ideology. What is Islam as an ideology? What is the perspective that Islam provides? Right? And to understand this ideology better, we looked at a few characteristics of it. Then we looked at how we can protect this ideology. Then we looked at how the enemies of this ideology function, how their brain function, how do they think? They think arrogantly about wastakbara, as the Quran describes Shaytan. He thought of himself as a great man, and that's why he fell. Brothers and sisters, after what happened to Prophet Adam in the first creation of mankind, Shaytan made a promise. Shaytan first asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, قال ربي فانظروني إلى يوم يبعثون. Grant me respite, grant me an opportunity until the day of judgment. فقال فإنك من المنذرين. Fine, your request is granted. قال ربي بما أغويتني. My Lord, now that you have given me this opportunity, what I'm going to do is I am going to cause people to go astray and make the earthly things, the worldly things attractive to them. So he swore by the majesty name of Allah and said, by your name, I promise that I'll lead mankind astray and I'll get them amused with the world. Except who? إِلَّا عِبَادُكَ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Except for your sincere servants. Brothers and sisters, Shaytan promised and swore on the majesty name of Allah that he will lead you astray. And he made it clear that you will be led astray. Except who? Except if you are purified, mukhlaseen. Inshallah, we want to discuss that today. What caused Shaytan to make this promise? It was very clear. We discussed this yesterday. About Mustakbar. He had a sense of pride within him. He had a sense of ego within him that told him, Shaytan, Allah is telling you to do something. How dare he tell you to do something? I can only tell myself what to do. And we discussed how this has become acquainted with every facet in society today. How this ideology has taken over our masajid sometimes. How this ideology has taken over our youth. How this ideology has been taken over in our education system. How this ideology has found itself lying in our own houses. Inshallah, we want to discuss how Shaytan gets this ideology to us. Shaytan has promised to target us, and he's smart about it. He's not just like, okay, I'll target you, I'll show you haram, and you will be led astray. No, he's smart about it. He thought about all the consequences that he will face on the day of judgment. Shaytan says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates in the Quran, وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ لَمَّا قَضِيَ أَمْرُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعْدَ خَلْقُ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees on the day of judgment, Shaytan will say, God promised you, and God's promise was true, but I too promised you, and we disagree. فَلَا تَوَلَّمُوا إِنِّي وَلَوْمُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. And he says, إِلَّا أَنْ عَدُوتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجِبُوا لِي. I invited you, don't blame me, right? I had no authority over you. I had no control over the action you were going to do. I invited you and you accepted me. So don't blame me, blame yourselves. On the day of judgment, he said, I know my followers, they're all liars. They all know how to lie, right? So on the day of judgment, they'll try lying to God too. And they'll say, God, Shaytan, you see the Shaytan that you created. He's the one who deceived me. Don't blame me. Shaytan's like, don't blame me. I gave you an invite. I gave millions of other people the same invite. It was you who accepted it at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, Shaytan's job is just to get you in trouble. It's like that one friend who won't leave you alone. Every time in class, he will tell you to do something. There's a very popular plan. Put a cushion on the teacher's chair. Right? Just do that. Right? And then all of a sudden you come to the principal's office. Oh no, I'm in trouble! He told me to do it! That's how it works on the day of judgment. Yes, he told you to do it. He'll get his punishment. But you were the one who acted on his call. So let's look, brothers and sisters. Even the prophets, even the Anbiya were tempted by Shaytan at times. Even the prophets, Shaytan would try targeting them. One of the greatest examples is Prophet Yusuf. alayhi salam, where was he? Was in the court of the minister of the time. And Zulaykha, the wife of the governor of Egypt, had told, was tempting Yusuf, Nabi Allah. In the bedroom, no one was there. But Yusuf was able to escape. He ran away from the call of God. Don't you think Shaytan will say the same thing to him on the day of judgment? I called you. See, he rejected my invitation. Why are you blaming me now? Shaytan is smart. He's a really smart enemy that we have. It's unfortunate, but that is the case. زين أصواتكم بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
ثانيا على صف الزهراء صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
Since earlier today my lecture was going to have sort of remade, right? I will have to pass some time into it like this. So, we first discussed who is Shaytan. Shaytan, Abahu Istakbaru. He had a sense of pride. He had a sense of ego. Next, what did he do? He was kicked out of Jannah. He was deprived of God's mercy and blessing. Then he asked God, I have one thing that I have a request for you. Let me live until the day of judgment. God was like, fine, I'll let you live. What will you do in that time? I promise I will misguide all of your servants, except for your servants who are righteous. Then Shaytan promised that he will come after them, he will send invitations to them, and they won't be able to do anything about it. And on the day of judgment, I will bring them, I am their enemy, and they will take charge for their own sins. Brothers and sisters, I want to make this easier on all of us, right? Imagine us all like radios. We're all radios. I'll explain the reason behind it, right? We're all radios with certain receivers. For a satellite to send you a signal, they have to calibrate that signal to your receiver, right? Or you have to tune that receiver to receive that signal. Similarly, that radio is the human soul. The human soul has a nafs in it. That nafs is the receiver. And that satellite is Shaytan. Shaytan just has to activate that receiver, just has to send a signal to that receiver. And that radio will act on it. Our goal is to shut down the receiver. That is why, brothers and sisters, Shaytan calibrates his invitation to you according to your receiver. Just like how they have this AM, FM thing, and then there are all these confusing numbers to tune into different radio stations, different satellites, right? Why? It's calibrated to fit that radio. Hence, Shaytan's not just going showing everyone the same test, right? My test is different with Shaytan. Your test is different with Shaytan. Let's examine the different types of invitations Shaytan has. Brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, وَاسْتَفْزِزْ مِنْ أَسْتَعْتَ مِنْهُمْ بِصَوْتِكَ وَأَجْلِبْ عَلَيْهِمْ. Draw any one of them you can into sin by your voice and by your cavalry and your infantry. Shall the property of the children with them and make promises to them, and your promises are all lies. Allah is describing Shaytan. He's saying Shaytan will bring an army of people, shayateen, to deceive you, to put you out of game. The first campaign of Shaytan, the most effective campaign of Shaytan, and by the way, this has been proven by psychologists, and we'll discuss the psychological perspective of it, is the audio-visual campaign of Shaytan. Brothers and sisters, I am sitting in my room alone. No one's watching me. I have a phone in my hand. The internet's huge. There is a lot haram on it. I look at maybe a movie of violence. I look at a movie of zina. Allah Akbar. Oh, sir, brother, I wasn't able to control myself. No, that was Shaytan in that moment. Who brought that ad in front of you? Who brought that video in front of me? In front of you? Brothers and sisters, the audio-visual campaign of Shaytan is so powerful. Why? Psychologically, our eyes, our ears are the most powerful senses that we have that affect our brain. If I see something, if I hear something, it affects me. I take it in. You sitting in the Majlis, seeing all these banners, seeing the name of Imam Hussein, Imam Ali, Abul Fadl all around you has an effect on you. You take that in, you register in that brain, and your brain makes a fitting environment. Similarly, you start associating different things from your eyes, from what you see. Shaytan recalibrates the receiver, tries to get you hooked on. Brothers and sisters, these days it's a multi-billion-dollar movie industry out there. Not just outright halal content. Maybe the content seems innocent. I'm watching a movie. Right? In that movie, maybe one person has a boyfriend, maybe one person has a girlfriend. Innocent, nothing too big. It's just that recalibration that's going on how you think. He's trying to make that receiver in your mind stronger, to take a signal better. Brothers and sisters, that's how Shaytan works. That's your enemy right there. Think about it. The movies they watch, maybe they don't even have that bad of a message. Maybe it's a good message. But think about it, Shaytan has an ideology. Remember when we discussed, even the most innocent of the movements of the West that we see today have an agenda behind it that is not in sync with their slogans, with their motives. It has a lot behind it. That is your enemy right there. That's his first attack, the audio-visual. And all of a sudden you see celebrities getting rewards for making these movies. The Oscars. What are the Oscars? Awards for supporting the Taghut, Tawagit, the soldiers of Shaytan. All of these movies have an agenda behind them. Whether you realize it or not, the videos that you see on TikTok, most of them have a specific agenda behind them. Whether the creator, sometimes the creator of the video, sometimes the creator of the movie, don't even realize that what they are making is in support of the Shaytan. Why? Because Shaytan calibrates their mind to think the way he thinks. Hence the output that they're putting out is in favor of Shaytan. The multi-billion-dollar industries that we have there making movies, this is what it is, the Oscars. And then the music, of course. The music is outright Shaytani at times. Look at the lives of some of these people, the celebrities. Who is making your content? Whose content are you consuming? Second campaign of the Shaytan is the military campaign. Brothers and sisters, as soon as I say military campaign, a lot of people get hesitant. When we say military campaign, we just don't mean the physical battlefield. Although that's there, yes, at times you saw the Tawagheed, what they did was they attacked Rasulullah in the battlefield. They attacked the Aimah. That's what happened in Karbala. They attacked them physically in the battlefield. But that's not the only military campaign they had. Brothers and sisters, you saw it in the ayah of the Quran. Shaytan has his own military. He hires his infantry as soldiers. Sometimes the soldiers are friends. Think about it. Are your friends? ilahi friends, godly friends who remind you of the good? Or are you friends, faruti friends that remind you of the evil? That put you in that atmosphere. Your co-workers, your bosses. My boss was inviting me to an innocent party. Brother, I didn't drink alcohol. I didn't do anything wrong in that party. I didn't eat halal for God's sake. I was just there. That is, unfortunately, your boss was also one of those who naively fell in the trap of Shaytan. Not saying going out and judging them. Oh, brother, the next day you go to your boss and say, Habibi, you told me to do wrong. You told me to come to this party. That was completely incorrect. That's not what you're supposed to do. Don't judge him right away. But for sure he fell in the trap of the Shaytan. All of a sudden we see, Maulana, brother, I went to my work yesterday and I got fired. No, that's not what I was telling you to do. Relax. Focus on yourself. Co-workers, your friends. Who are you hanging out around? Are these people reminding you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And brothers and sisters, the education system. Ooh. All of a sudden, everything seems clear. We discussed the education system like 2-3 lectures ago. Inshallah, as soon as you upload them, y'all can go look at those lectures and understand this better. Education system, brothers and sisters, is where your mind starts functioning, where your mind starts growing. Allah said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, أَن يَتَّفُوكُمْ يَكُونُوا لَكُمْ أَعْدَاءً وَيَبْسُطُوا إِلَيْكُمْ أَيْدِيَهُمْ. Allah said, if they find an opportunity. By the way, this is the literal translation you'll find online. I'll do some analysis of the translation and we'll move on. If they find an opportunity to turn against you, they'll become enemies and stretch out their hands and tongues to you with evil intent. And they would love to see you turn away from faith. That's a literal translation. Brothers and sisters, the word used as the invitation of the enemy, as the goal of the enemy, as the tactics of the enemy is يَسْتَفُوكُمْ. In Arabic, يَسْتَفُوكُمْ comes from the word تَفَا, which means training you in a slow manner, in an extremely slow manner, until you grow in a certain manner. Where it gets so hard for you to not commit sin. Why? Because you have been grown in that shaitani ideology. Now it's time for you to come out of it. Now it's time for you to be told and repent from it. The word is the in Arabic, there is a word called at-tiqafa. At-tiqafa means the education system. It means education, it means school, it could mean high school, middle school, college. Right? The Quran is saying this system of education, this system of slowly training you into something is being used by your enemies as a military tactic against you. It's being used to train you by the Shaytan. Brothers and sisters, the next campaign of the Shaytan is an economical campaign. زين أصواتهم الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
ثانية على حب الزهراء صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Ya Shaytan, Ya Shaytan, Ya Shaytan. He's really upset right now with us. Inshallah he is. I really do hope he is. Well, I don't know. I think the discussion is getting a little boring. Let me share a story with you guys. Brothers and sisters, there was once a scholar who was writing a book about the Shaytan. He felt so good about this. And by the way, this story is more for me. He felt very energized. Oh my God, I'm a very pious person. I'm writing a book about Shaytan. All of a sudden, what happened was Shaytan came to him in his dream. Interesting. Shaytan wants a book written against him. Why? Because his job was to get that scholar down. Shaytan attacked in the most unexpected ways, brothers and sisters. Some say, by the way, after some people hear the story, they stop waiting for Salatul Fajr. Don't do that, wake up for Salatul Fajr. Some say that sometimes Shaytan wakes you up for Salatul Fajr. Why? Because sometimes when you miss Salatul Fajr, you feel so sad, you get close to Allah. Shaytan doesn't want you to get close to Allah, so he makes sure you wake up for Salatul Fajr. So inshallah, we're safe from the path of Shaytan. Please recite Allah, salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Next tactic that the Shaytan uses against you is the economical campaign. Brothers and sisters, economical campaign can mean a lot of things. I want to start a business when I grow up. You know, it's actually become a trend these days. You go on TikTok, you go on YouTube Shorts, and all of a sudden you see all these very masculine people telling you to go earn $1 million within a week. You see these very investing things. Half the time they're scamming, by the way. And the other half the time, even if they're being truthful to you, that's a way of Shaytan to get to you. Shaytan is trying to get to you by making you start an economical business, which may have a prayer area, which may have a haram area. Then all of a sudden you go to the scholars and start asking them, Ya Shaykh, Ya brother, or Shaykh, or Sayyid, or Ayatollah, can you tell me is this business halal? Well, that business is clearly haram. Why? Because you really want to get a justification out of it. For who? Not for yourself, for Shaytan. Shaytan wanted you to start that business. Yeah, it's a gray area, no. Shaytan wanted you to start that business to earn some haram money. Easy money, brothers and sisters. And I'm telling you, half the time, whenever it comes to easy money, it's definitely, most of the time, it's not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah tells you to work hard for your money. Yes, if there's a shortcut and it's halal, please take it. But there are many different ahkam of earning money. Allah has made it clear upon us. Sometimes the business is not fair. Allah doesn't allow you to have an unfair business, unjust business. That is why it is very important, brothers and sisters, to know your ahkam firstly. Secondly, to be careful about where you're getting your money from. On the day of Karbala, when Imam al-Hussein was in the battlefield, you know what he said? You had, to the enemies, he said you have haram in your stomach, that's why you're not joining me. Haram in your stomach? Brother, I eat haram, what are you saying? No, that money was haram. That's how Shaytan got to them. All of a sudden you see these internet ads become a millionaire overnight. Oh, Shaykh, I'll pay homes on it. Brother, I'll pay homes on it. That's not how Islam works. You don't earn halal in the first place. Becoming a millionaire overnight. Right? That money, even if it's halal, sometimes it gets to you. I'm better than others. You know, I have so much money, I'm better than others. I can afford things. He cannot afford this, he cannot afford that. When did money become the way we judge others? When did money become the way we evaluate others? When did money become the criteria of value that we give to others? Brothers and sisters, there's a hadith of the Prophet. And there are many different narrations of the Prophet like this. And the Prophet is quoted to have said, time will come where it will be so difficult to protect your religion, to earn halal, it will be like holding a burning coal. Aren't we living at that time where even the most innocent of our businesses sometimes have a gray area to it, sometimes have a haram aspect to it? Make sure that we purify our money. For those who are not working yet, I see a lot of young ones in the crowd tonight. When you grow up, make sure you choose a job. When you're thinking about your career, make sure you choose a job that will help you. Not because it will give you more money, no, a job that will help you. Make sure that you have those means for getting that proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even through your business. Putting aside all those good and genuine people who earn for the sake of Allah, and Allah has emphasized so many times to start a business, and Allah has encouraged you guys to start a business, to work halal so much in the Quran and in the Hadith. The meeting spot of the Shaytan for most of us is the marketplace. If not the media, if not our friends, if not the outside world, it's the marketplace. Money, people can be sold for money so easily. Oh, I sold something. I think I can sell it now. It's not yours to sell in the first place. Brothers and sisters, the last tactic of Shaytan, and be aware of this tactic. Empty promises. Heartbreaks, empty promises. This is the tactic of the Shaytan. He comes to you, he's like, oh my God, COVID is coming. Go and buy all the supplies you can. Store them in your house, away from everyone else. Don't share with anyone. You're going to die. Very funny. Go buy all the toilet paper you can. We saw this 2 years ago. All the Muslims were like, alhamdulillah, I don't have to do that. All the non-Muslims were like, going to the store, the shelves were empty. Creating that sense of rush within empty promises. With all due respects to, if there's anyone in the county here, there's some people, you hire an accountant, right? They tell you the year is ending, go buy this car, go buy this. It's going to be cheap. You don't need it, go buy it though. It's an amazing deal. You don't want to miss this deal. Capitalism. Simple words. Getting you into that rush, getting you into those empty promises. And invest in this company, you'll make a lot of money. All of a sudden you see this comment. And you're like, why doesn't Allah help me? Where's God when I needed his money? Allah told you in the first place, be aware of Shaytan. He has so many tricks, he has so many tactics to get you. Empty promises are number one, brother. I'm not saying don't invest in the stock market. It's good. Whatever you do is great. Just be careful when you do it. Please yourself on Allah sallallahu
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Please yourself on Allah.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself in the Holy Quran says, الشيطان يعدكم بالفقر ويأمر بالفحشاء والله يعدكم بالمغفرة منهم وفضلا والله السميع العليم. Shaytan, he threatens you with poverty. He makes an empty promise. Follow me, and all of a sudden you won't have poverty. Right? He threatens you with poverty. Again, the economical campaign also plays a part here. He tells you, if you invest in this, you won't be poor. Just follow me. And he threatens you with poverty. Poverty is on its brink. The economy is about to collapse. Do something. He gives you empty hope, empty promises, firstly in himself. He tries removing your desperation, your will, your neediness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because he thought he could remove his neediness from Allah. Right? That's why he went away from Allah. He tells us, I have refuge. Don't take refuge with Allah. Don't take refuge with Allah. I have all the refuge you need. Follow me. And then you accept. Now on the day of judgment, he just comes back to blame you for it. Only me. I called you. You came to me. You came to me, I didn't come to you. Brothers and sisters, this causes us to lose hope in Allah. That's why one of the greatest sins is to lose hope in Allah. Why? When you're losing hope in Allah, you're buying into the empty promises of other than Allah, which is Shaytan. Brother, I'm tired of Shaytan. I don't want Shaytan in my life. How do I seek refuge from Shaytan? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah, He says, وَإِمَّا يَنزَغَنَّكَ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ نَزَغٌ فَاسْتَعِذْ. And if Shaitan comes and whispers to you, come to Shaitan, then seek refuge with Allah. Put your hope in Allah. Know that Allah is in charge of your affairs, no one else. Verily, He is the all-hearing and He is the all-knowing. Put your trust in Allah. Tawakkul ala Allah. Makaru wa makar Allah. You plan and God plans. Who's the best of planners? Allah is the best of planners. There's one more advice that I want to give you guys tonight. Imam Ali al-Islam actually wants to give you this advice. اشعروا قلبك على التقوى وخالف هوى تغلب الشيطان. Acquaint your heart with piety. Control yourself. Have a level of self-control. And disobey your desires. Even if it's halal sometimes, brothers and sisters. It's sometimes good to disobey even your halal desires. Well, I want to do this, but it's better to not. Like there's no halal or haram in this, right? It's like mubah. I want to do this, but I can also not do this. But I really want to do this. As a practice, I skip my desire. I jump over my desire. I avoid my desire. Of course, if your desire is to do good by coming to the Majlis, then you should come to the Majlis. But like, let's say it's a situation where neither side is too good, right? Then our Imam tell us that in this situation, where you have two options, and both of the options are equal, follow the one that your desire tells you the least. Remember that receiver of Shaitan's commands are nafs, is our desire. So habituate yourself to follow your desire less. Disobey your desire at times. It's hard! No, it isn't. Allah made you as His viceroy. Allah made you to represent Him on this earth. Allah made it very much possible for you to. You just have to live life. That's it. Live it the way God has told you. Do what's wajib and haram. Don't burden yourself. That's it. That really is it. Shaitan made it look hard for you. Shaitan made the pleasures of this world look easy for you. And what God has, He made it harder for you. Brothers and sisters, and I want to end off with this hadith. There is a narration from Prophet Nuh where he had a conversation with Shaitan. There are many narrations where the Prophet had a conversation with Shaitan, where the Prophet has a conversation with the Dajjal, where the Prophet has a conversation with them. We can find treasures in these type of narrations. Brothers and sisters, in this narration, Prophet Nuh asks Shaitan, who are the people that you deceive? Shaitan's like, since you're asking, I'll tell you. There are 5 types of people that I can deceive. They have 5 qualities. And if you have a notebook, if you have a notepad, if you have a phone, take note of this. Come to me after the Majlis for these 5 qualities. Shaitan can attack you, number 1, when you are angry. In the heat of the situation, I said this. No, when you're angry, stay quiet. Don't say anything. Your husband's lecturing you on something. Your wife's lecturing you on something. All of a sudden you want to respond. I want him to know who I am. I want to establish my authority. I want to take revenge on all the wives in the past who have been unjust to, and all the husbands in the past who have been unjust to. I am going to show him who I am. At that moment, no Shaytan has to control over you. Relax. Take a step back. Think through the situation. Sit down. Do wudu. Avoid that situation. Maybe come back 2 days later. It won't hurt if you wait to say something. Alright? It won't hurt. I know it's hard. At least Shaytan made it hard for us. But it is definitely possible. Should I mention the story? Let's mention the story. Alright. There was one person. There was a person who came to a scholar, right? He was like, it was a husband and wife, they were having issues. They come to a scholar, they were like, my husband sometimes hits me. The wife comes and complains, right? And he is very upset. We're in love, but he gets upset at me sometimes and he hits me. The scholar was like, there's no excuse for that. And then the scholar was like, the wife was like, should I divorce him? What should I do? Is there something I can do? The scholars gave her a certain stone. And I was like, I got the stone from the bloody of Muhammad Hussein alayhi salam. Every time you and your husband get into a fight, put this under your tongue and see what happens. The wife thought, okay, fine, I'll do this. Next time her husband got angry at her, she put that in her mouth. She wasn't able to talk. Surprise. The husband didn't do anything. The fight died down. Not saying it was the wife's fault. The husband's actions were terrible. The husband should never do that. But look how, if we control ourselves in this situation of anger, in this situation of heat, I'm sure the husband was doing something on his end. Right? Same goes with the husband. If the wife's getting really angry at you, just put something in your mouth. Or just stop yourself from speaking. It will prevent a fight. It will prevent catastrophe. And you will eventually get on. The issues will be resolved. Everything doesn't have to be resolved at the heat of the moment. Right? I hope no one misunderstood what I was saying. That if you guys all understood, please recite Allah's salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, the second characteristic Shaytan warned us about it. Said, if you're among these people, I can attack you. He said, when you judge between two people, if you are a judge, Shaytan gets you at that moment. I want to support this person even though it's not right. Avoid judging other people, brothers and sisters. There's a saying, there's a hadith, 3 out of 4 judges go to hell. Next characteristics, when you are alone with the opposite gender. And I mentioned the story of Barsisa a few nights ago, how this pious one, just because he was left alone with the daughter of the king, he was going to stray so fast. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, the lustful look is a poisonous arrow of Shaytan. That's why you understand, brothers, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so many times in the Quran tells you to lower your gazes and tells the sisters to dress modestly. Because that was one of the people. I'm sorry, I said 5, it was 3 qualities, alright? And the second 3, and then there are 5 qualities, which Shaytan says, people who are out of my reach. The first one, the sincere ones who trust God alone. The second quality, whoever remembers God constantly. The third quality, whoever wishes for others what he wishes for himself. And the fourth quality, whoever is patient in calamities. And the fifth quality, whoever is satisfied with Allah. Brothers and sisters, and you see this in Karbala, those who were not able to get attached by the attack of Shaytan, people like Ali Akbar, they were satisfied with the will of Allah. But on the night before, when they arrived in Karbala, the caravan of Imam Hussein, Ali Akbar saw Imam Hussein alayhi salam constantly started saying, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, Inna lillahi. And I, Ya Baba, why are you saying all of this? I was like, I see calamity, I see misfortune on this land. I see bala chaos. Ali Akbar was like, aren't we among the correct? Aren't we among haq? And Imam Hussein said, Ana, yes. And he said, then I am not dying for the sake of Allah. That is how much he was satisfied with Allah. When you see this, brothers and sisters, take yourselves to Karbala. Sallallahu alayka ya Fatimah. Sallallahu alayka ya bint Rasulillah. Brothers and sisters, it is narrated that Ali ibn Hussein, Al-Akbar, came to take permission from his father to go to the battlefield. As soon as Hussein heard these words, he looked at his son in sort of a disappointment and started weeping. Tears flowed from his eyes as he wept. As Ali Akbar started heading to the battlefield, Hussein reached his hand to the sky and said, Wallah, by Allah, be witness that these men are fighting a youth that resembled the Prophet. Brothers and sisters, they used to say if Hussein wanted to see the Prophet, if Zainab wanted to see the Prophet, if anyone in Layla wanted to see the Prophet, they would go to Ali Akbar. His voice, his way of talking to them. What a sacrifice Hussein had to give that day! The only remembrance of his grandfather he had left. The only remembrance that would remind him of his grandfather was his own son. Brothers and sisters, Ali went into the battlefield. He fought so bravely. No one had seen such a brave fight. They say he killed more than 120 men. All of a sudden, Hussein heard a call from the battlefield. Ya Abu, the thirst is killing me. Ali went to Rasul, to Imam al-Hussein. He stuck his tongue out and Hussein saw his tongue so dry. What a father! Which father cannot grant his son's request? Which father cannot give his son water? Hussein takes his tongue out, takes the moisture from his tongue and said, Ya Ali, this is how much moisture I have on my tongue. And he said, you know, but your tongue is drier than mine. Brothers and sisters, back to the battlefield. They attack Ali and Al-Akbar and surround him from all sides. Soon one person hits Ali from the back. Some say that Ali fell onto the horse. His hands covered the eyes of the horse. And the horse ran towards the enemy. All of a sudden they take out their swords and start cutting Ali into pieces. They start cutting the son of Hussein into pieces. Brothers and sisters, others say what happens is Ali was fighting so bravely, no one could attack him from the front. Someone came to him from the back and stabbed him with a spear. Ali fell to the floor. Ya Abu, oh my father, salam minni, take my last salams from me. Hussein ran to the body of his son. When he ran to the body of his son, he saw the spear broken in his chest and Ali crying in pain. The father had to future, then the saddest scene comes. The youth of Bani Hashim dragged the body of their cousin Ali back to the tent. Where all of a sudden Zainab is